Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And I might be surprising a lot of people, but I'm back with another music video. And I'm going to be reviewing Disturbed Evolution. So, I was actually not even aware that Disturbed was ready to release a new album. It kind of flew over my radar a little bit. And I didn't know. But, sure enough, I saw online that they had a new album out, so I checked it out on Spotify, and I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, their last album, Immortalized, it was a decent album, but I wasn't really too thrilled by it. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a bad album. It was a good, decent album. And for me, probably, I think like a lot of people, I think I really enjoyed The Sound of Silence, probably as being the best track. That was a very good cover. There is a live version featuring, I think, Miles Kennedy on the deluxe version, of which I listened to. So that was a pretty good live performance. I think he's on the piano in that one. But so we're talking about Evolution. I think this is a pretty big improvement. And from the opening track, Are You Ready?, this kind of really reminded me of something that would have been on The Sickness. Like, it had a lot of bite to it. I haven't heard this style from them in quite some time. It kind of had more of that feeling on Believe or The Sickness to me. It had more of a punchy feel like Liberate or Stupefy, and I was pretty happy with that. I mean, when it came on, I was like, this is an awesome way to start off this album. I was like, this was a great track to pick. Also, like, no little intro or anything like that. Like, bam, like, right into the album. A great song. And I think what I like is the way how they kind of, they picked a good variety here of ballads. And also, like, the riffs stand out. See, I think that's the problem I had with Immortalized. There wasn't enough catchy riffs. There definitely was on Asylum, but Asylum is not really like that strong of an album either. I don't think that they've had a really, really strong album since 10,000 Fists. I mean, no, let me take that away. Indestructible. Indestructible. I was kind of forgetting the discography order there for a moment. So, definitely Indestructible was their last really, really good, solid album. Where like almost every single, the vast majority of the songs on the album were good. And I think like it kind of deteriorated a little bit. And now I think we're kind of back to where we were. That outstanding quality that we haven't seen since Indestructible. And I think it's a really, really good album. I think it's an awesome fucking album. I think they picked a lot of really good songs and a lot of good variety here. We have A Reason to Fight, and In Another Time, Strong on Your Own. All good, riffs, ballads. And then when you really want to talk about a really good ballad, Hold On to Memories. That song right there is like almost like a show stealer for me. I mean, I'm always a sucker for a good ballad from a metal band, and like I said, like one of my favorite songs from Metallica is my favorite song from Metallica actually is Fade to Black, which is a ballad. I mean, it's a song that just it's got enough edge to it, and it has enough melody where it really sticks out. And that's why, like, this album right here, I think it's a really good one. And they just didn't have that on Immortalized. I think it was also because they hadn't made an album. It was like maybe like a 4 or 5 year gap between Asylum and that. But like I said, Asylum was a little bit better, but it definitely fell short of where Indestructible was. But they're back on it. Sometimes you're gonna make songs, you're gonna make an album that just can't quite get up to the level of past albums. And Disturbed definitely, they're not one of those bands where they've made like such an amazing album that they can never surpass it. Thank God they're not one of those types of bands where they can never like get to that same level ever again. Sometimes it's a lot better, like kind of when they're a little bit more even, where it's kind of hard to choose a favorite. I always like it better when a band does it that way, you know, where it's not like, you know, you really have to struggle to try to reclaim that same quality of an album. And you know, they've never done that, thankfully, because like I said, I have a lot of problems like picking which is my favorite Disturbed album. It definitely is in between 10,000 Fists and Indestructible. And, you know, and I really, really do like The Sickness a lot, but I gotta give it to probably 10,000 or Indestructible. But this definitely is getting them back on the track of where they were. Like, it's a lot of good melodies. Like I said, the riffs are a lot catchier. You didn't really have so much of that on the past two albums, and they got back on track, and that's what I like to see. I hate when I have to say, like, a band just doesn't really sound where they were, you know, like prior. Like, that's kind of like how I feel about, you know, Killswitch Engage, with, you know, them having the old singer back, and how I feel about Bullet for My Valentine. I mean, they have not been able, like Bullet for My Valentine, they will never be able to surpass Ready, Scream, Fire. That, like, they're never gonna surpass that album because it's so good, and that's a real shame. So they never fallen into that gap yet, because like I hate when that happens, where they're just never going to obtain that same level of greatness. So it's definitely a big recommendation for Disturbed fans. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and yeah, so go check it out. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit a thumbs up. If you didn't, and you hated this album, you think I'm wrong, you think I'm out of my mind, and Disturbed's always been awesome, or they always sucked, you know, hit the thumbs down. Hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications when I post on my new videos. Check out some of the content I have posted here, and thank you for watching, guys. Until next time.